To understand who exactly my grandmother was, we have to go way back to a day of all twos. She was born in Bellary, Karnataka. This was her father, a tall, dark, handsome man. He was the postmaster for their small town. This was her mother. She was unusually fair for an Indian. This is my grandmother. They named her Kamlamma. Kamla meaning lotus and Amma, mother. To me, she was Avva. She was the fourth surviving child out of six. Kamlamma was particularly close to her elder sister, Seshamma. Remember this, it becomes important later in the story. She grew up in the historic city of Hampi, running through the ruins and swimming in the crocodile-infested river there. Kamlamma's father died when she was 13. Her family married her off to some guy in her clan. She didn't accept this marriage. She moved to Madras and nursed her mother through cervical cancer all while attending high school. Her mother died when she was 16. In order to escape her marriage and break the norm, she got some help from friends and enrolled at Maharani's college in Mysore, far away from home. Her entire family disowned her, except Seshamma. Kamlamma was a good student. She impressed her professors and fellow students as extremely intelligent. Once, a professor asked her if she dared eat peanuts in his class. Yes, she replied. Do you want some? She had guts. In 1942, she took part in India's freedom movement and successfully drove the British away. At age 26, she even served as an interpreter in Gandhi's murder trial. She was a woman who had lived so much at such a young age. Kamlamma had strong likes. She loved music, loved to dance, hated garlic, loved animals. These are her cats. Hated rock music, loved crosswords, cricket, and children. And then there's me. On an average day, here's what I think about. Guitars, dogs, some more guitars, some more dogs, and why the hell is it so cold outside right now? I've shipped myself off halfway across the world, but still have my mom and dad call me every second day. At the age my grandmother was kicked out of her dorm for protesting British officers in Mysore, I still find it hard to wake up at 9 a.m. and get to class. For a long time, I've heard stories about my grandmother's life and looked at her as a brave warrior. She got a divorce as soon as reforms were passed in India and married my grandfather. At age 70, she was in a horrific car crash that crushed nearly half of her body. They fitted her with an entire metal frame. That didn't faze her. She was back on her feet dancing in no time. But I realize that that's not what makes her special. Yes, she was a warrior, but to me, she was a witty, funny, and loving grandmother. She gave so much to everyone around her, whether it was sweets for the neighbors' children or the decade she spent taking care of my grandfather who had Parkinson's disease. She was a great grandmother, loved my brother and I, and always went out of her way to tell us stories and feed us more food. She did everything all by herself, which was so unusual for anyone in an Indian family. She bore so much pain with no complaint. Always did what she thought was right. Never let anyone else tell her what to do. It's easy to recognize my grandmother for her achievements. I mean, they are monumental. But what truly makes her special to me are her values. In a time where so much of her environment was full of people accepting things as they are and conforming to norms, my grandmother was the original rebel. Everyone has their own rebel icons. I have my grandmother.